The Natural History Museum had been hosting overnight programs for 20 years. Kids loved sleeping under the dinosaur skeletons, exploring exhibits after dark, and feeling like real scientists. But on October 14th, 2000, 13 children participating in the Future Scientists Sleepover and never made it to breakfast. No alarm sounded. No doors were forced. Security cameras showed them settling into their sleeping bags at 11 p.m., but by 7 a.m., they were gone. 24 years later, museum expansion uncovered what no one was supposed to find, a hidden laboratory beneath the paleontology wing. Before we explore this mystery, make sure to subscribe because we uncover the science they try to hide. The Whitmore Natural History Museum stood like a cathedral of knowledge in downtown Portland, Oregon. Its granite facade and towering columns had welcomed curious minds since 1952. Inside, prehistoric creatures cast long shadows across polished marble floors, and glass cases held treasures from every corner of the natural world. Dr. Elena Vasquez had been the museum's education director for 8 years when she created the Future Scientists overnight program in 1980. The concept was simple: give children a chance to experience the museum after closing time, to feel like real researchers exploring the mysteries of science. The program had become legendary among Portland families. Kids would arrive Friday evening with sleeping bags and wide eyes. They'd eat dinner in the cafeteria, take guided tours through darkened halls, conduct simple experiments in the education lab, and finally bed down in the main exhibition hall beneath the towering skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. October 14th, 2000 seemed like any other Future Scientist night. 13 children, ages 8 to 12, had been selected from a waiting list of over 200 applicants. The program was competitive. Kids had to submit essays about why they want to be scientists, and parents paid a premium fee for the exclusive experience. Among the 13 were Jessica Park, 10, who wanted to study marine biology after reading about deep-sea creatures. Marcus Williams, 11, dreamed of becoming a paleontologist like the characters in his favorite movies. The youngest was 8-year-old Lily Chun, fascinated by astronomy and convinced she would discover a new planet. At 6 p.m., parents dropped their children off at the museum's main entrance. Dr. Vasquez greeted each family personally, as she had done for 20 years. She knew many of the parents from previous programs. Some had attended Future Scientists nights themselves as children. "We'll take excellent care of them," Dr. Vasquez assured the parents. Pickup is at 9 a.m. sharp. The kids are going to have an amazing night. The evening followed its usual schedule. Dinner in the cafeteria featured kid-friendly favorites, pizza, fruit cups, and chocolate milk. Afterward, the children split into small groups for specialized tours. Some explored the mineral collection, others examined fossils, and a few lucky ones got to handle artifacts in the anthropology storage area. At 9 p.m., the children gathered in the paleontology hall for the highlight of the evening, sleeping beneath the dinosaurs. They unrolled their sleeping bags in a carefully arranged circle, each child claiming a spot near their favorite exhibit. "Lights out at 11 p.m., announced Dr. Vasquez. "But feel free to use your flashlights to look around. Just remember, your guest in the dinosaur's home tonight." Museum security guard Robert Kim began his rounds at 11:15 p.m. The overnight program was routine for him. 13 sleeping bags arranged in the main hall, kids whispering and giggling until exhaustion took over. Motion sensors throughout the building were set to alert him if anyone wandered into restricted areas. Kim's security logs show he checked on the children every hour. 11:15 p.m., all 13 kids accounted for, most already asleep. 12:15 a.m., one child briefly left the group to use the restroom, then returned. 1:15 a.m., all quiet, everyone sleeping. At 2:15 a.m., Kim noted something unusual. The hall seemed colder than normal. He checked the climate control system, but everything appeared normal. The children were sleeping peacefully in their bags. His 3:15 a.m. check was routine. 4:15 a.m., the same. At 5:15 a.m., Kim noticed the hall felt warm again, but attributed it to the building's aging HVAC system. At 6:15 a.m., Dr. Vasquez arrived to begin the morning routine. She planned a special breakfast featuring fossil-shaped pancakes, followed by a behind-the-scenes tour of the museum's research lab. She found Robert Kim staring at 13 empty sleeping bags. "Where are the children?" Dr. Vasquez asked, her voice echoing in the vast hall. I don't know," Kim stammered. "They were here an hour ago. I checked every hour all night. They never left." Dr. Vasquez and Kim searched frantically. The museum's restrooms, the cafeteria, the gift shop, every accessible area was checked. The emergency exits were still locked from the inside. The main entrance required a key card that only staff possessed. "Call the police," Dr. Vasquez said, her hands shaking. "Something's very wrong." Detective Sarah Martinez arrived at 7:30 a.m. She'd been with Portland police for 15 years, but she'd never investigated missing children from inside a locked building. "How many access points?" Detective Martinez asked him. "3 main entrances," he replied. "All require key cards. Emergency exits are alarmed. Windows are sealed and monitored. There's literally no way out without triggering security." Detective Martinez examined the sleeping area. 13 sleeping bags lay exactly as they'd been arranged the night before. Personal belongings remained untouched: backpacks, water bottles, stuffed animals brought for comfort. It was as if the children had simply evaporated. "Show me the security footage," she demanded. The video review was more puzzling than helpful. Cameras clearly showed 13 children settling into their sleeping bags at 11 p.m. Periodic checks throughout the night revealed normal behavior. Kids shifting in their sleep, occasional trips to the restroom, one child who briefly sat up to drink water. But at 5:47 a.m., something strange appeared on the footage. A brief flicker across all camera feeds, lasting less than 3 seconds. When the image stabilized, the sleeping bags were empty. "Power surge?" Detective Martinez asked. "Never happened before," Kim replied. "The system has backup power. Even during blackouts, we maintain continuous recording." The FBI arrived by noon. Special Agent David Chun specialized in child abductions, but the Whitmore Museum case defied every pattern he'd encountered. 13 children don't vanish from a secure building without inside help, Agent Chun told the assembled task force. Someone with access, knowledge of security systems, and a planned escape route. The investigation expanded rapidly. Every museum employee underwent background checks. Dr. Vasquez, devastated by the disappearance, cooperated fully with authorities. Robert Kim submitted to polygraph testing. Volunteer docents, maintenance staff, even the cafeteria workers were interviewed extensively. All cleared. The museum's construction blueprints were examined for hidden passages or forgotten storage. But as weeks turned to months, hope faded. No ransom demands were made. No witnesses came forward. The 13 children had simply disappeared from the most secure building in Portland. The museum closed its overnight programs permanently. Dr. Vasquez resigned, unable to bear the weight of responsibility. The Future Scientists program, once a source of pride, became a painful memory. For 24 years, the case remained Portland's greatest unsolved mystery. Families moved away or learned to live with uncertainty. Agent Chun retired with the case, files still open. The museum continued its educational mission, but the shadow of October 14, 2000 never fully lifted. Then, in January 2024, the museum board announced a major expansion. The paleontology wing would be renovated to accommodate larger exhibits and updated technology. The project required extensive foundation work and utility upgrades. Maria Santos had been operating construction equipment for 18 years. She'd worked on schools, hospitals, and office buildings throughout Oregon. But on January 23, 2024, her drill hit something unexpected beneath the museum's basement floor. Supervisor to the dig site, Maria called on her radio. "We've got a problem down here." Foreman Jake Russell examined what Maria had uncovered. Beneath 4 feet of concrete and steel was a hidden space, a room that didn't appear on any architectural plan. "Nobody told us about this," Jake said, studying the construction blueprints. "This room isn't supposed to exist." The museum's current director, Dr. Amanda Foster, was called to the site. She'd only been with the museum for 3 years and knew nothing about hidden spaces beneath the building. "We need to document this before proceeding," Dr. Foster said. "This could be historically significant." The excavation revealed a concrete stairway leading to a sealed door. The space had been professionally constructed, with reinforced walls and a ventilation system that connected to the museum's main HVAC network. Detective Martinez, now a captain, received the call that afternoon. She'd never forgotten the 13 missing children, and the discovery of a hidden room beneath the museum sent chills down her spine. "Secure the site," she ordered. "No one goes down there until we have a full forensics team." The sealed room was opened 2 days later. Captain Martinez and Agent Shun, brought out of retirement for this discovery, descended into a space that had been hidden for over 2 decades. The hidden laboratory was larger than expected. Clean white walls surrounded sophisticated equipment. Microscopes, computers, medical monitoring devices, and examination tables sized for children. Along one wall were 13 small beds, each with a nameplate that matched the missing children. But it was the documentation that made Captain Martinez's blood run cold. File cabinets contained detailed medical records, behavioral assessments, and research notes spanning from October 2000 to March 2003. The files revealed the children had been subjects in psychological and physiological experiments, sleep studies, cognitive testing, physical development monitoring, all conducted without parental consent or knowledge. "My God," Agent Chen whispered, reading through the records. They were kept here for over 2 years. The laboratory showed signs of hasty abandonment. Equipment was disconnected but not removed. Personal belongings were scattered throughout: clothing, toys, books that belonged to the missing children. In Jessica Park's file, researchers noted her exceptional spatial reasoning abilities. Marcus Williams had been studied for advanced pattern recognition skills. Lily Chen's records detailed unusual astronomical knowledge for her age group. The children hadn't been chosen randomly for the Future Scientist program. They'd been selected based on psychological profiles that identified them as intellectually gifted. This wasn't a kidnapping, Captain Martinez realized. This was a recruitment. The investigation revealed a conspiracy involving several museum staff members who had since died or disappeared. Dr. Elena Vasquez, who had founded the Future Scientist program, died in a car accident in 2003. The museum's former research director, Dr. Harold Whitman, had moved overseas in 2004 and couldn't be located. Most disturbing was evidence that the experiments continued beyond 2003. The final research notes suggested the children had been transferred to another facility for advanced cognitive development studies. DNA analysis of the laboratory confirmed all 13 children had spent significant time in the hidden space. But there were no signs of violence or immediate harm. The research notes described the children as cooperative subjects who had adapted to their new environment. Families of the missing children were briefed on the discoveries. The revelation that their children had been used as research subjects was devastating, but also provided the first concrete evidence of what had happened that October night. "At least we know they were alive," said David Park, Jessica's father. "For over 2 years, our children were alive." The case generated renewed national attention. Congressional hearings examined oversight of research institutions. New regulations required background checks for all museum personnel with access to educational programs. But the central question remained unanswered. What happened to the 13 children after 2003? Some families received mysterious packages over the years. Photographs of young adults who resembled their missing children. Letters with no return addresses containing inside jokes only family members would understand. None could be verified, but they suggested the children might have survived. Agent Shun, now in his 70s, became convinced the museum laboratory was part of a larger network. Similar disappearances had occurred at science museums, universities, and research facilities across the country during the same time period. "We're looking at a coordinated effort to identify and recruit gifted children," he told a Senate subcommittee. The Whitmore Museum was just one facility in a much larger operation. The hidden laboratory was sealed after the investigation concluded. Too disturbing to preserve, too significant to destroy, it became a buried reminder of how trust can be betrayed and innocence exploited. The museum implemented new safety protocols for all educational programs. Background checks became extensive, oversight was increased, and no child would ever again be left unsupervised in the building. Dr. Foster established a memorial garden outside the museum, with 13 trees planted in honor of the missing children. Plaques bore their names and their dreams. Jessica, the marine biologist, Marcus, the paleontologist, Lily, the astronomer. But questions lingered. Were the children still alive somewhere, living under new identities? Had they been moved to other research facilities? Were there other gifted individuals who had been recruited through seemingly innocent educational programs? The story of the future scientists Sleepover spread throughout the scientific community. It became a cautionary tale about the ethical boundaries of research, the vulnerability of gifted children, and the responsibility of institutions to protect those in their care. Parents began questioning overnight programs, science camps, and specialized educational opportunities. The balance between nurturing young minds and protecting them from exploitation became a national conversation. Maria Santos, the construction worker who made the discovery, visited each family to express her condolences. "I have kids of my own," she told them. "I can't imagine what you've been through. But now you have answers, even if they're not the answers you wanted." The Whitmore Museum continued its mission of scientific education, but with a deeper understanding of its responsibility. Every child who walked through its doors was someone's treasure, someone's future scientist, someone whose safety was more important than any research or discovery. The Future Scientist program was gone forever, but its legacy lived on in the questions it raised about trust, ethics, and the price of knowledge. Some secrets, once buried, can never be fully covered again. Subscribe for more hidden truths that challenge what we think we know about the institutions we trust.